Thanks for staying with us. So last week, we had discussed the issue of the fact that the federal government warned parents from sending their children to Northern Cyprus schools. However, there have been mixed reactions from different quarters. Some Nigerians are saying, both of them abroad are saying something different concerning Nigerians living in the diaspora. Now, we have with us the president, actually, National Association of Nigerian Students, Turkish Republic Zone, Comrade Gideon Jude, and a human rights activist, Fidelis Soriwei, to help us have a better understanding of what exactly is going on over there. Good morning, gentlemen. Are you there?
Good morning. Yes, I'm here. Good
yes,
morning.
Good to have you. So I'll start with you today.
Thank you.
Because you reached out to us, because you are the president of the Nigerian Students Organization over there.
Right.
In your view, when you received the warning from the federal government concerning Nigerian students living in Northern Cyprus, what was your reaction exactly? Could you paint us a picture exactly what really happens over there?
I was really disappointed, not only me, actually. And a lot of Nigerians living here were very disappointed that something like that has to come up, and especially that it's coming up from a very high-profile government official. So we're very disappointed that we were told that there was an attempt to blacklist universities to here. So it's a feeling of disappointment from all of us.
But the federal government did say that there have been about 100 Nigerian students that have been killed. And if you are the president of the Nigerian students over there, are you aware of these killings?
Well, you wrote a statement. I want to believe the statement has reached your office. I'm really looking forward, and not only me, I speak on behalf of all of the students who are here, and their parents as well. So we are looking forward to receiving the 100 list. Like I said in my statement, we will never have up to 20. Since the time Nigerians started coming here, from time immemorial, I mean, Nigerians started coming in early 2000s, until this point, there has never been death that is more than 20 from our record. Precisely, we've seen 18 people have died since Nigerians started coming in here in the early 2000s. So I'm surprised where the 100 is coming, and I really look forward to receiving the 100.
Right.
Okay. Comrade Jude, since the NIDCOM mentioned the numbers 100, have you done any investigations on your own part? Maybe it's not just the students' community. Maybe there are other Nigerians living within Northern Cyprus that may be part of this number.
Right. We have done last Saturday. We actually had meetings, all the executives from different universities. Now, Nigerian students here are over 8,500 Nigerians living on this island. And most of them, 98%, are students. Even those who came here for one reason or another. We have people who are not currently studying because they finished their PhD or something and they are working here. So it's largely a student community, and we will know. It's a very small island, so if information spreads quick, we will know. There is no way that we will not know. The population here is around 300,000.
Right.
So if you are saying 100 people died, and the picture that we receive and the way this whole scenario has been painted,
right,
is making parents to feel as though police will just go on the street and look for Nigerian and just shoot.
Right.
This was the kind of picture that, because the reactions we received, points to the fact that this is the kind of impression that was painted.
All right, so you mentioned earlier that since the Nigerians started schooling in Northern Cyprus, they've had just about 18 deaths in the many years that the schooling had been going on. So I want to ask, what's usually the procedure for when a student dies? What does the school do? What does the parents do? What is required? How do you make put out a statement? What do you do exactly when a student dies?
Now, this is practically a police procedure. So when a student dies, the police will find out where this student is studying, because usually, like I said, most of the population are students. So they get in touch with the school, because in the application, every student writes an emergency contact. Now the school then will inform the parents. Sometimes if the news go out and other people who know the person that died, maybe a relative or a friend, and that relative have a contact of the parents, they can send a message to let the parents know that this is what happened, or call
Okay.
the parents. But usually the school will call. This is how it is done. The school will inform the parents and let them know. And then from there, we begin to arrange how the parents can come, if they want to come, or if they want the body to be sent back home, or they want the body to be buried. So this is usually what happens.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so I want to, when we broke this story last week, there were, you know, we always would have conspiracy theories of what could have been happening. And right there on Twitter, we had people that were posting their private chats with friends that live in Northern Cyprus, saying that this is not a case of a widespread attack against Nigerians, but that it is Nigerians attacking Nigerians based on internet fraud or cult activities like that. The 18s that are 18 people, the number, whether 100 or 18, all of each life count, but the 18 that died, was there evidence to prove that, or was there a case that what killed them? Who was found guilty? Was there prosecution? And are there is there any truth? Is there any truth to the story we read on Twitter that some of these cases are Nigerians killing each other out of supremacy war?
That's right. We have two cases where one Nigerian killed another Nigerian. And this has happened twice. So, and usually it's related to, I mean, for one, there's a case where he killed the other Nigerian because they had issue with money and so on. And then sometimes, I mean, there's only one death that we have on record that I think one Nigerian was involved into drug dealing with someone who is a local. And in that process, they fought. And the Nigerian died. Now, this local is still serving his sentence in the prison as I speak to you right now. And all of the other arrests, I mean, it's either, we had a case, someone died last year of an ailment, I think it's diabetes, I think. Yeah, it was diabetes. He died of diabetes. We have students. Personally, I've been involved in some of this. I can give you a very, very true picture. I've facilitated the burial and the sending back home of bodies, and up to 4 of them are related to drugs.
Okay, let me put you on hold for a quick second. Let me bring in Dr. Evident Ekayari, President of the National Association of Nigerian Students in Diaspora. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning to VC. Thank you for inviting me to this program.
Yes. So you've heard the president of the Nigerian associations over there in Northern Cyprus, and he's saying he's totally refuting the information we got from NIDCOM that Nigerians are being killed over there in Northern Cyprus. In your view, as a government official, could you tell us what reports you've gotten, either confirming or not confirming what he has just said?
Yeah, let me first of all state that I studied in North Cyprus. I did my master's and doctorate degree there, and I was, previously the president of Nigerian students in the Turkish zone too. In all my years, as much as all the countries that I've traveled to, I said this in the report that I gave last week, and I'll still say it again. I haven't seen any place that is as safe as Northern Cyprus yet. Because in Northern Cyprus, people sleep with their doors open. I haven't, you don't hear gunshot. There are no robbery cases. There are no, violent cases in this. Because it's quite a small island though. So just like Comrade Jude has said, there is no such thing of 100 people dying in North Cyprus. If you're saying that 100, I think there are just about 8,000 plus Nigerians living in North Cyprus, and 100 is a very significant number. How can 100 people die? And just like he said, which I can rightly confirm, I don't think there are more than 18 people who have died, and these have been natural causes. I remember one time there was a young lady who who she didn't have a heater in her house. I think she ran out of electricity for the heater. So she put on this, the barbecue equipment that I used to, for barbecue. So she put it on in her bedroom, and the smoke and the fume that she slept off, and the fume that poisoned her, and she died. There have been cases like that. Some persons went to swim in the beach, and they drowned in the beach. And so these are the majority of the cases that have been heard. So they're just, as much as I know, there's just one case that involved, a Nigerian having a fight with a local due to some drug issue and all that. And then that person was killed.
Right.
And that case was highly protested. And the people that were involved in that case, they are still in the jail till now.
Okay.
So it was quite bogus to
Right.
have heard the NIDCOM boss saying 100 people died in Cyprus.
All right, let me put you on break for a second. We're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the chairman of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa, and comrade, human rights activist, actually, Fidelis Soriwei, who has done a lot of work and investigation on cases of children dying in Northern Cyprus. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So now we have with us a human rights activist, Fidelis Soriwei, and also the chairman of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa. Good morning, madam and gentlemen. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Let me start with you, Honorable Abike Dabiri. You've probably heard our conversation with Comrade Jude concerning the fact that he's mostly unaware that 100 Nigerian students have been killed in Northern Cyprus, and that community is a rather safe place for all Nigerian students over there. Do you, obviously, tell us your own perspective on this, because we're having this issue understanding whose side should we be on?
We're just be on the side of Nigerians who don't deserve to be killed anywhere in the world. First and foremost, I hope you know that as a student union, first of all, let me take you back to slavery. Years ago, when there was slave trade, Africans sold Africans into slavery with the support of our African forefathers. So, the fact that, this is happening, as a student union, whatever in Turkish, you have some privileges. So you have to defend all those things. But here's the thing. Number one, this is a country that is not recognized by anybody, any country in the world except Turkey. Now, I'll take you back to a book. Chikozie Obioma, titled The Ghost of My Student Years in Northern Cyprus. He wrote that book in 2009, and it started with this. When the Booker nominee arrived at university, he found many fellow Nigerian students had been duped into enrolling, and for some, that was only the beginning of their troubles. And he went to tell us about one guy, Jay, who was killed. Now, many cases go unreported. And no, yes, we're working with names. As I speak with you, Interpol is on the matter. Now, I want to ask the union president, is it even right that 18 students have died and there has been no investigation? Nothing has happened. Nobody has done anything. Personally, for me, I said 100. And the 100, I'm talking of blacks. Majority, every time you say black, you say Nigerian. What about those from East Kenya and all that have complained? Now, we are working with the Turkish embassy here. We're working with Interpol. And you see, the problem is that a lot of times you can't even report anything. Like Obioma said in this book, you have to keep your mouth shut. You have to keep your mouth shut. And then all the figures we have received, how come they died the same way? Yes, 1 or 2 cases of drugs, which I don't even have documented here. I'm not even talking about that one. Everybody, you committed suicide. You jumped from the ceiling. You jumped from somewhere. If they don't know, that is because they don't want them to know. Not every case is reported. What about those who try to jump the fence to cross over? By the time you realize that you are in Northern Cyprus is not Europe. Now they come to Nigeria. I have gone to Sheraton Hotel and Rockview to drive them away. So what do they now do? They use Nigerians, like student union president, to now enroll more students. Number one, what are you going to do in the country that's not recognized by anybody except Turkey? Now, the problem with figures is they can't report. Who do you report to? Even if you see anybody dead, you better keep quiet. Yes, it's a peaceful country. I guess so. But how come students? It's not going to. Okay, take the case of this Khalil.
Hello, I need to confirm something for what you're saying. Are you suggesting that many of these Nigerian students are recruiting others from Nigeria and they are somewhat on the payroll of these Turkish governments? Is that what you're suggesting?
The agents come here and they use Nigerians. Because I told you, we went to Sheraton and Rockview. Once they came here, when we had cases that year, one year was at 2013 or so, where we had cases of death in Northern Cyprus. And then we now found them here in Nigeria and said, leave this country. We're already telling that people are being killed and you are still coming. So they left. So now they use Nigerians to recruit Nigerians. And those Nigerians get paid. I don't know whether it's good them, but those Nigerians get paid. And then, you know what, these agents also collect extra money. Even what they are paying over there is triple what they should pay because they are using agents. Why should you even use an agent to go to a university? So the figures are even more. As far as I'm concerned, when you look at Africans generally. And the thing is, you know why it would happen there? They're going to tell you, number one, don't worry about visa. You don't need a visa to go to Northern Cyprus because nobody recognizes the country apart from Turkey. So all you need is a transit visa. That is the first thing that attracts them. You don't need jams. You don't need to pass anything. So that attraction is that then you pay €1,300, which some would believe is low compared to others. So this is what I'm saying. I still say hundreds. Not even hundreds of Africans.
Let me put you on hold for a second, madam. Let me bring in the human rights activist, Fidelis Soriwei. Sir, are you there?
Yes, good morning, ma.
I know you lost your nephew who died in Northern Cyprus. Could you tell us what happened and what work you've done so far to dissuade Nigerians from going to Northern Cyprus?
Thank you. First, let me start by thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of this very critical discussion because it has a lot to do with the lives of Nigerian students schooling outside this country. You see, when I read the statement made by the chairman of the Diaspora Commission, it did come to me as a surprise, and I'm also wondering why it should come to Nigerians as a surprise. When an old woman stops suddenly in the middle of the dancing arena and points to a particular spot, know that something terrible must have happened to her. She is recalling devastation. So to the Soriwei family, this call is not new. What seems to make it new is that Mrs. Abike Dabiri has a bigger voice. And when she speaks, Nigerians listening to her, they take her seriously because she has antecedents. She has a ruling passion to save lives. She does her job with compassion, and she's compassionate. And I am not here to do a public relations job for her. I have a background in journalism, so I will go for objectivity.
Okay.
In 2013, before 2013, my family and I had never had any interest in the obscurity called Northern Cyprus. It never commanded any attraction until my nephew, a 20-year-old boy, Gabriel Soriwei, went to that country in charge of Western education. He was a student of electrical electronics engineering. And the boy was said to have been knocked down by a Turkish woman. And the woman who killed him, till today, the Turkish authority, the people in North Cyprus did not tell this family, did not reveal the identity of this woman to the Soriwei family, to the grieving Soriwei family. Several years after this death, in that island, that so-called paradise that these paid agents are painting, in any country that is not a banana republic, where there is a system of laws in operation, in our country, Nigeria, let us use Nigeria as an example. When you kill somebody, or when there is manslaughter, when there is culpable homicide, what do? There is an accused. There is a suspect, and the suspect must be known to the society.
Right.
In Northern Cyprus, there is no system of laws in operation. It is a banana republic where people get killed, and the killers are shielded. let me learn. These people that are talking to you are student union officers. Look at their faces. You have an idea of who should be a student. These are bourgeoisies. These are people who are agents of these institutions who are paid to do a job. They are on a mission to lure Nigerians into their untimely death in the name of schooling in North Cyprus. These are people who come to show paradise to Nigeria. The greatest weapon at their disposal is to deceive ignorant Nigerian parents who will release their children to go in pursuit of education.
Is this an opinion that you have?
Anywhere.
These are heavy allegations.
Yes.
Let me go on a quick break. So when we come back, we'll come and ask you some more questions because you're making some very serious allegations. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So we still have with us the human rights activist, Fidelis Soriwei. Bisi had a question. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So you've made, Mr. Fidelis, are you there? You've made serious accusations. And, you know, the burden of proof is usually on the accuser. So I want to ask you, is there any shred of evidence that you people have put together to be able to, you know, to push further what you're saying? Is there any way you can get the parents of people who have lost children in Northern Cyprus, just to show that you are actually saying what is happening? Because the stories are very, very different. Is there any way to show proof of all these accusations that you have made this morning?
Yeah, first, let me start by saying that I am a younger brother to Gideon Jude, the boy that died. It's my elder brother.
Okay.
My elder brother, a manager of NNPC, is the father of the boy that was murdered in Northern Cyprus. Up to the moment that we are talking, there is no police report. There is no police report on how this boy was killed. Up to this moment, not even the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been able to compel the so-called Northern Cyprus authorities to tell us or give us a report on the death of this boy. The boy we sent out to go get university education had to come back to us as a cargo. When the death of a young man, a promising young man, hits a family, nobody will wait for a public official to raise the alarm before you cry out. Now, let me call the attention of this program to what happened. In 2013, when this boy died, we went around all the media houses. I granted an interview to channels television that are popular 10 p.m. news, and they interviewed me. And they said, why did you send your son, your nephew to Northern Cyprus when you know that the country is under Turkish occupation? When you know that Northern Cyprus is not a country recognized by the European Union? When you know that there is no diplomatic relationship between Northern Cyprus and Nigeria? Why did you send your son when you know that the son was being sent into a country where his own rights, he will live with suspended freedom? And I told them, I admitted the ignorance that made the Soriwei family send that boy to his death in Northern Cyprus.
Mr. Fidelis, please, just so that we're a little more specific, because I know Nigerians are now even more curious to understand your anger, because obviously you're speaking from a place of hurt. What specifically happened with your nephew?
Now, what happened was that the boy, as I said, was a student of electrical engineering. He went out of the campus. According to what the Cypriot authorities told us, he went out to buy something, and then somebody knocked him down. The boy fell into a coma and later died.
Oh, I think we lost connection with that. But we still have the Honorable Abikada Dabiri on the phone.
Oh, okay, Honorable Abikada Dabiri, when we discussed this topic last week, I put the responsibility of any Nigerian life lost on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Oh. And I feel that they're responsible for mediating any issues that have to do with Nigerians abroad. However, your ministry has come, your commission has come into play. What exactly should have happened? What could the ministry have done? If somebody is found dead, what are the legal proceedings to bring the body back? Is it a case of don't go there, or a case, what can be done? What's the procedure?
Well, we are talking of a country that is not recognized. We don't have diplomatic relations with Northern Cyprus. That's why it's been a bit difficult.
How about Turkey?
Only Turkey. No, so like I speak to you, I've gone to the Turkish ambassador in Nigeria. I've written him a formal letter, and he said he will look into it. Now even Jude, I said 18. Can you imagine that even if you say 18, they've died in the last few years, no investigation, no report. Justice Khalid saw no report. Now, what we have done first is our mission in Ankara, Turkey, are on the matter. But the problem is this: Turkey cannot. How much can Turkey to the Northern Cyprus? What sanctions can they give? Two is the fact that in this particular case, Interpol is now involved. The Attorney General of the Federation has involved Interpol. So, like I told Mrs. Justice Khalil, I don't know her. She came as a grieving mother, and even her story. You will cry when you hear her story and what they did to her son. So Interpol is involved, and we expect that maybe from this, two things should happen. One, whether it's an island, according to Jude them, who as union president, you have some entitlements, Nigerians are dying there. One, I reiterate, I'm advising, please avoid Northern Cyprus. We can't go to the UN now and report. We can't go to EU and report. They are not part of any country. That is one. Two, we are demanding investigations into all those. It will be difficult for all those who have died, but at least for Khalil, Ibrahim Khalil, who called his mother and said, Mama, this is not the place I should be. Mama, I want to come back home. Mama, this place is deadly. Mama, if you die here, nobody will ever even know where you are. You are dead and gone. Nobody will see you. If Justice Bello was not a justice, you will not know about Khalil's death. It's gone. There are many like that are gone. They throw them into the water. Then some, by the time they realize that it's not where they want to be, they want to jump a fence to the other part of Cyprus, which is the recognized part. They die in the process. Some are drowned. And somebody is telling me that Jude should ask for forgiveness from his God. And may the souls of all those who have died rest in peace. And I insist on hundreds, but a lot of them are not reported. And this is slavery again. I want, please, before you cut, I remember Libya. I came on and I said, please avoid Libya. Some people attacked me, the way Jude is attacking me, and saying that why are you telling them not to go to Libya? Look at what has happened with Libya. The same thing with Lebanon. As a parent, please don't go to Northern Cyprus.
All right, let me pause you for a second, Ma, because let me go back to Jude for a moment, because they've been listening in to all that you have been saying and all that Mr. Soriwei has been saying. Jude, are you still there?
Yes.
Now, Comrade Jude, tell us, I'd like you to respond to all the allegations that obviously you are recruiting Nigerians for these schools to come to a death zone.
And you're paid.
Right. Now, I think I would deserve apologies from Honorable the Chairman, Mr. Abike, and also the human rights activists, because it went to personal, and I had them calling my name. He was talking about faces. And now when you refer to a death zone, I would also demand an apology from you to refer to. I always advocate for investigative journalism. Mrs. Abike has never been here, and she just sat down here. Okay, there are certain facts that we've not mentioned on air because there are certain things she cannot say to a living parent. The mother of the late Ibrahim Bello, we sent our condolences, and I did personally. I was with her, helped her throughout the procedure. I took her to the hotel, to the police. I did all of that with her. I was with her for 3 good days, and I didn't have enough sleep. So I have labored in this, and to come and hear lies being spread out, even from a government official, is a disturbing thing. First of all, can the federal government fight against itself? No. Petron is sending students here. It's not just agents that are sending. Federal government students are here. I also observed how Madam Abike is fighting with federal government itself, because it's an indication that She does not know who she's representing at all. You're supposed to represent the federal government. I also look at the issue with the Minister of Information. Why is the federal government fighting itself? Third form students are coming here. Universities here are accredited by ARCON, that is Nigeria's architectural bodies. We have accreditation here of universities from Korea. We also have universities here that Nigerian law school has visited even as of last year. We have NUC official here last year. So I don't understand all these pretense. And then she was making mention of certain things. For instance, she said that students have been dying even when we put Africans all together, even with Africans. And I boldly say this statement without any apology. When you put Africans together that have died, there's no record of up to 100. That is a deviation of truth and should not come from somebody who has taken an oath to serve the Nigerian people. She's not speaking for Nigerians at all, in no way at all. She's deviating from truth, which I believe from this indication that she has a special interest in this whole story. And I want to also point out to the fact that the European Union is also setting an allocation. Now, when we are talking about the recognition status of the island, we have conflict zones. For instance, Kosovo, Taiwan. If somebody goes to study in Taiwan or Kosovo, for instance, does that mean the certificate of the person is not recognized? North Cyprus has a special status just like Taiwan, very identical status. So the issue of recognition does not stop people from getting their degrees. Universities here are even accredited by some international accrediting bodies. For example, engineering programs have ABET accreditation, which some of our universities in Nigeria don't even have.
Okay.
So I am very surprised, and I see that emotions are just being played. My condolences to the human rights activist for over the loss of his brother. But we are not talking about facts. We are preaching emotions on this platform at this moment.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation with you and also invite a lawyer, Israel Yakusak. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Yes, Bishi, you had a question for our guest.
Yes, so the question is directed to Jude. A friend just sent me a message while you were talking and said that she was there in 2013 when the case of
Soriwei.
Yes, was what happened, and he was actually hit. The nephew was hit, and when it happened, they refused to reveal the identity of the woman who hit the young man. So I want to ask you, what sort of investigation do you do when a student dies in the school? How does the police in that, I want to believe they have a police, how do they handle it? What sort of reveal do they do to or give to the parents of the people who have lost their children?
Okay. I think you're muted. You're still muted. We can't hear you.
Can't hear him.
You need to unmute. Hello? Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead now.
Yes, I can hear you. So I said, if you said you want to believe that they have a police, you are also inciting, it's insidious statements trying to paint a picture that is not correct, because every state should have a police, even if it's not having a recognized status, like I said. Taiwan is an example, or Kosovo is an example. But to address your question, when the person is hit, the police would normally, and to be honest, and let me put out this picture, just like we have issues in other countries, I'm not out here to support the government. I have been to the office of the Prime Minister just last Thursday on this issue. That I came up with certain recommendations that I've presented to the office of the government here. And I've begun doing that not just today. I've been to several mayors in this place. So it's not, I'm not trying to defend that there is nothing going on in that regard. But what I'm out to say is that lies have been spread, and it's not portraying the true picture of what this country is.
Okay,
now, when something happens like that, like I said, the police will investigate, and as an association, I think Comrade Evidence was present at that time, if I'm not mistaken, 2013 or so, or no, not yet. I was not the president, and actually I was speaking to you at that time. But what would happen if such a case would happen here is the police would take the statement, and it's possible that that person was hit by a local. But from what we have gathered, usually they will prosecute the locals.
Yeah.
If they have not done so,
So,
we would
Comrade
also,
Jude.
I mean, we fight with the government too on certain issues.
Yes.
We do.
Okay, so
Yes.
Comrade Jude, you've had many of the accusations, and one is that there might be a conflict of interest because of the position that you hold there, and you're able to interface with their government over there. And so it may seem like you have
Don't face this picture because it's not the reality. It's not the reality.
Okay, may I
can
Comrade
send you
Jude, may I just
a
finish?
copy of the recommendations, so then you will know whether it's conflict of interest or not. And
Okay.
I've been doing that even before Khalil died. So there's nothing like that.
Okay.
Don't paint this picture because it doesn't reflect the truth at all.
So my question now is, if there are people who are saying, if there are parents who are saying that they haven't gotten closure or some form of justice because of the way that their children have died, or haven't gotten enough information, what exactly, or who exactly, or what body exactly in Northern Cyprus is supposed to make sure that these parents at least get the true picture of what has happened and give them some form of closure?
This is how things will go very easy. The parents can contact the embassy in Turkey, our embassy. The ambassador can do a lot of things here. It's as easy as that. We have an embassy in Turkey, and they can come here. Because if we say we should take the responsibility, we can go. We've been to several police stations for different cases to protect the interests of Nigerians. So if a parent feels that there's something, which we, to be honest, we can open heart. There could be, just like in our country, we have a lot of cases too that have not been unfolded. So it's a global issue. It's not something particular to Cyprus. And the reason why we are out is because there are lies that have been said, and things have been done. The mother of the late, I don't want to talk about the mother because she's still a grieving, and all persons who have lost. Now, the mother has not mentioned that she has been to Cyprus 3 times. Has she mentioned the reasons why she had come to Cyprus in previous times before the death of the son? It's not the first time Khalil has fallen. Secondly, more than 4 people, even as of yesterday, somebody was telling me that this guy used to be on drugs. I'm not inciting at the same time that he died because of drugs. But, you know, and I don't want to say this kind of things, to be honest.
Let me pause you for a second.
When all of these stories, lies, and falsehood,
point taken.
Shamefully coming from the Honorable Minister, Chairman of NIDCOM, then it's
point taken. Let me bring in a lawyer who has actually probably represented someone on this, or what he can even explain to us how he can represent any Nigerian who falls victim to this in Northern Cyprus. Let's welcome Ezra Yakusak. Good morning, sir. Are you there? Mister, you're still muted. We can't hear you at all. Please unmute. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good morning.
Morning. You'd like to add a few things
My
to
name
this?
is...
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes, my name is Dr. Ezra Yakusak.
Okay.
And I really want to comment on these deaths of Nigerians in Cyprus.
Okay.
I'm actually shocked that Mr. Gideon Jude is talking the way he is talking. The way he's talking as if he's not Nigerian, as if he does not represent the students over there, as if he's the one, in charge of the school. And I don't think that's fair. Your colleagues, your kinsmen are being killed over there, and you are talking, defending almost everybody there. That is strange. Now, what gave rise to this discussion is the death of a young man called Bello Khalil. Now, Khalil was a son of my very close sister, a classmate, who died on 19th October. We were told initially that the death was as a result of the fact that he fell down from a 7-story building. And so we took it in good faith. But by the time the mother, that's Justice Bello, saw the corpse of her son, and by the time we received her at Abuja airport down to the National Hospital, and the corpse was seen here, we were shocked that the entire body was intact. Now, somebody falling down from a 7-story building, and everything, there is no scratch, Even Jude, that is sitting down here, was shocked that the body was intact. He told us that there was complicity somewhere. Now, I'm saying this because Khalid's death is not the first one I know. I know two people. One is my cousin brother. He lost his son in 2015 or thereabout, David Sylvanus Benechet. The other one is
We're having network issues. We can't hear you, sir.
In the same side. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Now, at the end of the day, they end up tagging these kids that they were drug dealers, they were this and this. Now, let's assume, without considering that they were drug dealers, do you kill them extrajudicially?
We're having serious network issues, sir. We can't hear you anymore.
Okay.
I think as Nigeria, can you try that with? I'm very sure I have reason to believe that if I know 3 people that have been killed, we're over 200 million Nigerians, for God's sake. If I know 2 or 3 people that have been killed, I'm very sure the NIDCOM chairman, Abike Debri, I'm sure the 100 people she's talking about is underestimated from the news I've had from that country. So it is something that
we need the list.
Lost. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. The back and forth is a whole lot, and really, at the end of the day, it would be nice to have clear facts that we're presenting, because every individual that we've spoken to are giving a perspective, and information, and emotion, their perspective. We want facts. And that's where, of course, we'll bring in Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa again to give us, to say, okay, when will we have the facts concerning this story? We also hear of organ harvesting. And that's a bit worrisome. So is it that I have 4 gentlemen watching with me right now that have one information concerning what's going on that have a perspective of what's going on there. Have you heard of organ harvesting? Is there any truth to it?
Yeah, thank you very much. I will only say that based on little that we got, particularly in the case of Ibrahim Khalil, now you said it fell from a story building. The story building is uncompleted. The place is locked up, fenced. How did he get there? Now, when they brought his body, there was just now somebody fell from a story building. His body was intact. Even this Jude, indeed, he was with her. The body was intact. The hair was intact. He had full hair. It was intact. Well, the only thing they saw was a part of the head had like a little hole where blood gushed out. Maybe gunshot, we don't know. But here's the thing. His body had been opened and then stitched back. Whoa. So it is possible that when that body was opened, who knows whether the organs were removed. And you see, I want to say something very seriously here. We need to, get more serious about protecting ourselves and our people. We have to stop all this rubbish of defending other countries against our own. Even if 18 people died, according to your record, is there a reason because of pecuniary benefits to deny other people? And I think Jude should apologize to every parent whose child has died in Northern Cyprus. And let me talk as sure about that government are going. Anybody sending anybody is out of ignorance. The price is relatively cheaper. You don't need a visa. So even you, my girls of the view, if they tell you, not a bad place, I'm going to Europe. You are not going to any Europe. That's the truth. It's attractive. And then the agents will get people, they get paid. So what's the big deal? Look, mine is this. And a lot of people can't report. They're afraid. Even students there, don't say a word. You are gone. Justice Bello is a justice. So she in fact, after talking to us, you will see that she's not saying anything again. She came as a mother crying, seeking justice. For the closure, all I'm saying is that we don't know what has happened in the past, but the Attorney General is involved, the Minister of Foreign Affairs is involved, Interpol is involved, and we hope we can get closure.
Ma, quickly, Ma. Okay, can you give us a time frame of the investigations you're carrying out? What should we expect from it?
I can't, because of the country we're dealing with. So let's say something happens. Now, what do you do? Are you going to sanction Turkey? Northern Cyprus is not, we don't have a diplomatic relationship with Northern Cyprus. That is why we have a problem. That is why it's easy to get away with it. If we had a diplomatic relationship, then we'll be talking one-on-one. You're talking through a third party. that really cannot do anything. That is the challenge we have. And that is what I'm saying. Even if government agencies are sending their people, there's out of ignorance, and the fact that it's cheap. I'll deviate a little bit. We all send children to countries in neighboring West Africa. I went to one of these universities, the porter cabin in the middle of the market. I had to call a parent, a very high-placed parent. He said, do you know where your child is schooling? You should know where your children are schooling before you follow an agent. It was a porter cabin within a market. And they're talking about accreditation. Even Khalil, when he got into the university, the course he was going to study turned out not to be accredited. So he had to call his mother and say, what do I do? That means he had to change in the second or third year. And you know, after wasting 2 years on a particular course, he realized that he was accredited.
Unfortunately, 1.5 hours has gone, so we have to just wrap up. But we have to thank everybody. This is obviously left for the parents to decide. We've heard from the Students' Union over there, and we've heard from the government. So you make your decision based on what you've heard so far. But either way, every life of a Nigerian is quite important. We should not throw anything under the carpet.
You can watch Your View on TVC every Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Nigerian time on DSTV channel 418, GOTV channel 27 and channel 47, StarTimes channel 121 and channel 307, Play TV channel 801 and channel 190, UHF 49, Sky channel 515 for UK viewers. Watch live on Facebook at TVC Connect and on our website tvcentertainment.tv/livestream.